I'm not going to say a single word about the Tennessee Titans record against the Indianapolis Colts because I was a punter, and there's no reason for me to talk about that. With that being said, we did not punt much against the Tennessee Titans, so you probably have no clue who I am to begin.
Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper so hot you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest, it be looking like magic. Better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone, eating up these pig skins like they chicharrones. And you a douche cabron. Mira, mira at the mirror on the wall. I'm the greatest of them all. They gon' put me in the hall. Your name is only written in a bathroom stall. Quit your stalling and make a play. My drive too long, pop the clutch, I don't pump the brakes. I know what it takes to gain the muscle, get rugged. These butterfingers be fumbling, squash a scrimmage and rub it in Robitussin. How I give them concussion, they see in double, they rushing and pass the shovel, the dirt and rubble, I bury them under it. Stay in your huddle and get 10 yards back, never turn your back. I'ma pull your flag, I go full contact, out punch, out kick like a shotgun.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Just going to wait for a few to get back in here, but while we're waiting, make sure that you are liking, commenting, sharing wherever you are watching or listening from, whether it be on Twitter, because we don't call it X over here, or Facebook, or wherever you may be enjoying this. But in the meantime, yes, we already got comments coming in, so yes. Lisa Fowler from Facebook says, love this pick. Go Colts. Appreciate you, Lisa. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and just get started soon. Just like I said, make sure that you're liking, sharing, and commenting from wherever you're watching this from. But yeah, so in the meantime, guys, how's everything? How's everybody feeling? Is everybody feeling good?
Feeling great.
How about you, Josue?
Hey, I'm feeling so good, man. I can have some mayo and whiskey right now.
That is disgusting. That is disgusting.
We can pour one out for the opposing team.
Yeah.
Well, pour out a jar of mayonnaise for the opposing team?
Oh, mayonnaise and bourbon.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. All right, let's just get that out of the way right now. That's not going to happen. Okay, right?
Matter of fact.
Oh no. So Matt Briggs says Sunday we were all Colts fans. Yes, so Colts fans were Colts fans, and we know everybody else because Titans fans, they've been a bit insufferable. So yeah, glad we got that done. But we're gonna get into all that. Sarah Small from YouTube says, "Hey everyone, go Colts! I'm ready for us to beat Jacksonville. We're with you. We're definitely on the same page. So appreciate you, Sarah." And Maz says, bro, that was so hard to watch. I think Titans fans are kind of getting to that level where they're starting to out-feral Jags fans. Like, Jags fans have this, like, feral element to them. But, for the second week in a row, having to see somebody just randomly consuming mayonnaise in something that's other than a sandwich, it's disturbing.
It's borderline disturbing in a sandwich.
Depends, though.
Nah.
No.
Is it no?
No. Well, no. Because the thing is, have you ever had an Italian cheeseburger?
No.
It's a Jersey thing, but if you did, it would change your life.
If it has mayonnaise, I guarantee it will change my life. I don't have it.
Listen. It will. You've never had an Italian cheeseburger. Listen.
Never have.
Listen. One day, Harish. One day, I'm going to take you to my hometown and you're going to have an Italian cheeseburger and you will sit there. I will make you a believer the same way I always make you a believer.
Almost. You make me believe in all of it.
I make it exact. Like, listen, Harish. If there's somebody who doesn't accept your skepticism, it's me. So, yeah. All right. So let's just get that out the way right now. But you know what? Let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Oh wait, hold on. We got Clarence says, "LOL, beat Jacksonville." Don't think so. 0-11 coming.
Well, Clarence, I don't know if you know this, and I don't know what they teach in Jacksonville, but if Jacksonville wins on Sunday, they'll actually go from 9 to 10. In America, you go from 9 to 10, not 9 to 11. At least in all the other parts of the world, I don't know what happens in Jacksonville. Maybe
because I'm like, you skipped a couple numbers there, but I don't know how they're doing down there.
Just a little off.
Yeah, those bath salts are a little bit misleading, I guess.
But you know what? It's not worse than Mr. Ken Moore said that after Sunday at 3:30, that 3:30 October 8th, 2024, they'll be number one in the division.
Well, we haven't heard from Ken Moore since Sunday, so.
Yeah. Only Ken Moore that I've seen has been on the blender upstairs in my kitchen. That's the only Ken Moore that I've seen recently. So yeah, that's about it. But you know what, people? Enough with that. Okay, like we can get petty when we start talking about this. But in the meantime, welcome back, everybody, to the HorseShoe Mob podcast, where we're coming to you with everything Colts. And I know that we normally say we're bringing you a little bit of Titan slander, but we got all the slander for the Titans today because they've been listen. Where is it? I don't have it, but my inhaler's somewhere around here just because of the fact that we got nothing but smoke for the Titans today. So let's just get that out the way right now, okay? Like yo, come on, like let's do this. But yeah, in the meantime, just to introduce the guys, just so that we can get to it, we have with us the man who I'm gonna say, man, he subtly irritates many fan bases, and I don't understand because you know what? He's a swell guy, but you know what? I'll let him tell it. We have with us Harish Nukala, everybody.
Listen, man, I don't irritate fan bases. I just say things. I say things. I let them cook a little bit, and once the grill gets hot, people get going. They cook themselves. I just say a lot of things,
and that's fine. That's fine. That's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah.
See, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And then, of course, we have with us, I'm going to say the PA. He's the PA of the group. And what I mean by PA, he's the professional agitator. Because he gets all the opposing fan bases very, very riled up. And it's almost like it's like a poetry. Like it's a work of art, just watching people just go from 0 to like 1,000 instantly. And just knowing that they will be irritated for hours on end just based off of one thing that Josh says. But you know what? That's we have with us the guy, Josh Senior, everybody.
The guy that's smoking on that Titan pack right now.
I don't think they have those in Tennessee. They probably have a lot of marble.
Yeah, it's probably laced with mayonnaise.
They got the Titan pack right now.
Titan flavor or mayo flavor. Well, that's Michael from the
smoked
Titans
mayo has to be the worst sounding thing possible.
Yeah, it sounds pretty gross.
Yeah, that's awful.
Well, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, and then,
but not as bad as the other thing.
Incest?
No, mayo and bourbon. What are you talking about?
Oh,
no,
say, whoa.
No, I was about to say, because incest is pretty bad, and we know that's a Tennessee staple too. So
yeah, that's the state motto.
Yeah, too many Brussels out there, but you know what? We're not going to get into that. But yeah, so with that being said, people, I'm going to get to a couple more comments. Clarence, obviously a Jags fan, actually thinking Minshew going to come and beat the Jags. Don't matter. I'm going up to 11 because Colts never win in Jags, even when you had luck.
I think Clarence needs to learn a little bit of history.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm pretty sure Andrew Luck won in Jacksonville at least twice.
Yeah, but you know what?
We'll let Clarence live his fantasy dream.
Yeah, we'll let Clarence research. Then he said. Then Jason Willie from Facebook says Titans suck, and he couldn't be more right.
Yes,
okay.
Well, Chris, we got a question for you, man. How was your weekend? It was your birthday weekend. How was your weekend? How was your week?
Well, you know what? It was a lot of great things that happened this weekend, right? I went to LC's barbecue out here, which is just chef's kiss. Got some of that on Saturday. And then I think, actually, the news that happened before that was a certain premier running back of ours getting an extension. We'll get into that a little bit later, too. And then, of course, I mean, the Titans getting smoked like brisket. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I was watching on and off because my son had a makeup game from a rain game that he had 2 weeks prior. So I mean, I'm watching the game and it's going to get announced. So it's like we got a big stop, or my kids' team got a big stop, and then as soon as I go and tune back in, what happens? Boom, Zach Moss is off to the races. So I mean, I have to say, it's just like I was riding an all time high this weekend. Okay, just a lot of great things happening. I appreciate you looking out though. Like, thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, your Twitter went off this weekend.
Oh
Yeah.
what?
Did it?
Yeah, he was active. He was active.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we had a lot of detractors. Okay, not gonna
Mhm.
lie. But you know what? It's great, and we're gonna talk about all that because, like I said, I got smoke with Titans fans, and I got some smoke for some Texans fans too that was talking a little bit crazy. But you know what? Before we get into all that, let me just go ahead and just make sure that we plug the website www.fanbattlesports.com. Make sure that you are on there. You can see articles from not just the Colts, which I know that that's what you're tuned in for, but you'll see it for all of the AFC South teams, and then you'll also be able to see some stuff for the University of Texas Longhorns. So yeah, you'll be able to see that, and then like I said, we'll have some previous episodes up there if you want to view. But yeah, make sure that you're going to www.fanbattlesports.com, viewing on there. Also, let's make sure that we're driving up those numbers on the HorseShoe Mob YouTube, on the HorseShoe Mob Twitter page, and all that. Because, like I said, we got a lot of great things coming up, but we want to make sure that we get as much engagement as possible. So make sure that you're getting those numbers up. Matter of fact, I would like for us to be at 1K. So tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. You know what I mean? So yeah. But not gonna go off on a tangent. Let's go ahead and just get into some Colts news. JT. He officially was activated Saturday morning, October 7th. October 7th. Mind you, that's my birthday. October 7th, he was activated. And then 30 minutes later, Jonathan Taylor signed an extension for 3 years, $42 million, with $26.5 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
So scale of 1 to 10, how much do we love this deal?
I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Harish.
No, go ahead. I'm just kind of thinking out loud.
I want to, shout out to Harish for predicting that he would get signed before his season debut. And it happened. I mean, I give it a 10. I mean, the guy, on Thursday you didn't know what he was leaning towards. He didn't say anything. He dodged a couple questions here and there. Whether he want to be a coach for life or past his season. He didn't really answer everything, and people were reading into it. He want to still go. And like you said, Saturday morning, get him active, activated, and he's gonna be on snap count. Then minutes later, he signed an extension. Everybody's phone blew up. Because I mean, the guy, we know he is. He's a home run hitter. He's in between tackle. He can. I mean, he's a multifaceted running back. He can do it all. He can catch in the backfield, do it all, and we needed that, and it showed on Sunday. So I was happy. So I give it a 10.
Yes. Okay. What about you, Harish?
Yeah, no, I think I'm probably up there 9.5, 10. I'm thinking that same range. Last week we talked about how long it would take to make this happen. And I think I said on the show, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months. And there is really no true timeline.
Yeah.
It really did depend on when I think the dust finally settled. And then everybody came back and actually all right, what are we really doing here, right? Took all the emotions out the way. JT's finally healthy, which is one thing Chris Ballard said he wanted him to do.
Yep.
Finally gets healthy, gets off the pup, gets activated, and then I think that's when you kind of business kind of started. I think it was on Wednesday. Stephen Holler tweeted out that the relationship between Jonathan Taylor and the Colts was in a much better place.
Yeah.
And then that's when you could really tell, okay, this thing is going to get done. It's just a matter of how soon. And again, took days, right? So I'm very happy it got done. I'm very excited to see what a 3-headed monster is going to look like when you have JT, Zach Moss, and Anthony Richardson back there together. Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait for some time for that to happen. But no, I think they finally got it done, and I'm happy. I've got – at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, and they got the business taken care of.
No, absolutely. And me personally, I I think it's a 10, but I think it's a 10 for a couple different reasons. Um, I think the biggest reason is this is 3 years. So JT is basically playing out the rest of this rookie deal, right? And then the extension kicks in as of next year.
Yep.
Now that means that you have JT and you have AR. So these two are kind of tied to each other in a way where JT is basically going to be that other half of that electric duo. And now you have Zach Moss who goes into the fold, right? Because Zach Moss is balling out of his mind. He's third in the league in rushing and he has one less game than I think everybody on that list currently.
Yep.
But you have JT who's kind of tied to Anthony Richardson through Anthony Richardson's first 4 years.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, during that time, you're potentially going to possibly bring in somebody else, bring in another back. You don't know whether it's going to be Zach Moss still in 3 years. You don't know whether it could be another back in 3 years, but at least you know that JT, with his ability, you're going to have with AR, which is going to allow him to be able to have somebody to rely on, so that this way, that offense, I'm going to say, is probably going to take on a much different complexion on a year-to-year basis. I think this year we're seeing Shane Steichen really feeling everything out and seeing exactly where everything goes. And, for another reason is because now we're looking at the fact that it's a $42 million deal, right? So that basically equates to, if it reaches its maximum potential, $14 million a year. That makes JT the third highest paid running back after McCaffrey and Kamara, respectively. Now, what that's going to do is now JT now has the jump on the market.
Yep.
So now let's just say JT balls out this year and let's just say he comes back and he runs for 1,200. Let's just say Saquon comes back and he runs for 1,500. Josh Jacobs somehow runs for 1,550, right? Now, the problem is that JT got his deal. So Jacobs and Barkley are now going to be looking at JT's deal like he's at 14. So that means that those two are going to potentially have to go ahead and want to be at either 14-2, 14-5, maybe even 15, depending on how well they do this year.
Yeah.
Coming in and having him at 14 means that there's pressure now because somebody is going to have to match something between 14 and 15 and a half.
Yeah, and I think looking at Saquon's situation, it's not going to happen in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even Josh Jacobs' situation. I mean, I don't think those two guys stay with those teams.
Yeah. But the thing is now, if they don't, then they're going to be looking for something elsewhere. And I mean, even Eckler, I know he was talking about money, prior to the season, and we already know Eckler's body of work.
Yeah. Has he did Eckler sign a 1-year deal as well?
No, so Eckler,
or did he actually sign a deal?
I think he's on an expiring deal, but he just chose to just kind of go into it. But I think they have a little bit of a situation because I believe he's like 28, 29. Right. But the thing is, he has contributions in the rushing game and in the receiving game as well. So
sure.
And
then Justin Herbert's deal is coming up this year?
No, Justin Herbert got signed already, I thought.
Yeah, he just got paid.
He just got paid. Okay.
Yeah, he just got paid. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It was a 6-year, 200 something.
Yeah, because I think Joe Burrow got paid after.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, but like I said, it's a multi-layered positive for everything. So now it's like we know that he's going to be around with AR, and they'll be able to continue to develop it. Now, they didn't necessarily have the time to kind of develop that chemistry because JT was still on the mend. So I'm going to say this year, I think it's going to be just like a really good chemistry building, feeling out process. But then next year, depending on what weapons they get in the offseason, how this offense is going to look in terms of evolution, then I think that's when you're going to start seeing the true potential of how everything's going to go.
Yeah.
Even in the reduced role, it looked good. It looked decent. So
absolutely.
You can tell.
Absolutely.
There would be something.
Get like 5 carries this week.
Yeah, so JT had 6 for 18 roughly. So he has 6 for 18.
Yeah. This is basically these next 2 or 3 games, I don't think it's just going to incrementally grow. I wouldn't expect now, unless again, it's not impossible, right? Because it's not like some of the run defenses we're playing are great. I'd be curious to see if even after I would not be surprised if JT doesn't get 1,000 yards this year, and that is because does Steichen, being as smart as he is, from what I've seen so far, continue to ride the hot hand in Zach Moss?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also have to remember that this is also Shane Steichen, who has ran with multiple running backs, but I don't
Right.
think he's ever been or ever had the potential with running backs for what he's had with Zach Moss and then also Jonathan Taylor. Because even if we look at that offense that he had last year, it's who? Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
And I think Boston Scott was the one who kind of had a little bit more, but Boston Scott, he's not a world beater. He's shifty, he's small, but he wasn't somebody that is able to just kind of like, I'm going to say, have that bruising ability the same way that Zach Moss does right now.
Agreed.
So, I mean, I think you're going to, and I think I said it today on Twitter. You're going to go with whatever the defense is going to give you in these cases, right? So the thing is, if you see that these defenses are going very DB heavy, you're going to put somebody like Zach Moss out there because Zach Moss is going to go heads up with DBs and he's going to make them pay. If you see that you're dealing with a lot of sets where they might want to stack the box, then of course you're going to go and you're going to put Jonathan Taylor in there because Jonathan Taylor not only has that run between tackle speed, but his overall speed is going to allow him to just go no matter how he's going to go. And also, Shane Steichen's game planning hasn't really just call a spade a spade. Shane Steichen's game planning hasn't failed us yet.
I mean, he did say that. He said we're going to throw to score points and run and win the game. And every game he won, he did that.
Yeah.
He did that. He did that. Especially Sunday, he did it.
Yeah, I mean, but we're putting the cart before the horse. So you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and just get into some of this analysis, right? Because we had the Titans. Now, for context, we've had a lot of Titans saying things like we run the South after the Jags won the division last year. It was like, oh well, the Colts haven't beat us in X amount of days, and this, that, and the other. And so, you know what? I want you all to just kind of give us your analysis. Don't give too much, but then I want you to just sprinkle your best Titan slander into there, like towards the end. So you know what? I'm gonna start with you, Josh. We're gonna go to Josh, and then I want to go to Harish because I know that you both have your experiences with some Titans fans who had less than favorable things to say all offseason.
Hey, it was so many things been said. I wish I was like JT agent and just do that. Have all those tweets from all the different tweets and posts from all the different Titans fans saying how they run the South, how we haven't won, and like you said, 200 some days, and last 5 matchups we can't stop. Derrick Henry can't stop. Ryan Tannehill, who now they don't want anymore.
Go figure.
It's been a lot of go figures. It's been a lot of things. That's going to enter in the clip once they beat us Sunday. They're going to enter the clip and go off on us because they just feel like we talk too much. But all we doing is just responding back, like you said earlier, Chris. We just responding, giving you energy that you gave us. They say you can't. Remember? Shaq Leonard just running from Derrick Henry. You didn't need Shaq Leonard. Guess who stopped him? The Kingslayer, Zaire Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And even that guy, I don't know the guy's name. Who's the guy with the long hair? 41. This guy here.
Grant Stewart.
God, yeah, man, this
he
guy
was amazing.
Here,
yeah,
he was amazing preseason, but he was, like you said, he was amazing.
Really good. His size was surprising to me.
Yes, he got a shoestring tackle on Henry in the game. I was like, wow, yeah, that was a good stop. Yeah, but I mean, we heard everything. We heard everything. Like their offensive line, which been bad, but they're somehow gonna get a push for Derrick Henry to run through our defense. When we told them we don't need Quiddy Pay, we don't need who else we lost. If there's somebody else that we lost, that they was automatically thought that it was Quiddy Pay set.
Yep.
And they thought that I said we'd be okay with the guys that we have up front. What else they said? That it's their second home. Coast is their second home, so they can win there. It was something else. It was a lot of things. I mean, I really got to go back and
Well,
look
no,
at all things.
it was the days, and it was the Colts suck, and it's like they said, oh well, it's just like we ain't look the same, but we don't have to look the same in order to beat y'all. And I think the one thing that I did make sure to go ahead and put out there, I'm like, that all sounds good, but this isn't the Frank Reich led Colts.
I've been saying it too, yeah.
And it's impressive, and you can say all that you want to, but Andrew Luck owned the Colts, and we know that Frank Reich had 1 year of Andrew Luck, and then after that, I think it's just like that. I think we split with them when Brissett was there, and I think we split
with Carson, Rivers.
When Rivers was there. We won the first game, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's when they've been on their streak since then. But Steichen once again put up a great game plan, and I think that's the one thing that Titans fans, because Titans fans they know their team, but I don't think they really know football like that. But it's just like you see the schemes and you see what it is, and this isn't the vanilla play calling that you dealt with Frank Reich, right? This is new. I'm gonna say new ways to run the offense. The offense moves differently now. You're going to see different concepts. So I don't think they planned for that.
They looked over us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They looked over us. They thought, like you said, well, this guy, y'all don't have a running back that can rush for this amount. Y'all can't do anything. We're known to stop the run against you guys. Like we said, all of us have said that Frank Wright. I mean, JT can average 5 yards a carry, and Frank Wright will abandon the run and throw the ball 30, 40 times, and we lose the game. So in this game, we didn't do that.
Yeah, but the quarterback with 2 injured ankles. Yeah, let's not forget about that.
Right.
Exactly. 2 sprains.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I haven't seen a lot of Titans fans in the last couple of days. I think they're probably really sick right now.
Oh, probably still.
They're probably still recovering. The Titans' D-line was so bad that even French fries was able to open up a hole for the Colts, for Zach Moss to run 50 yards.
Yeah.
So this much, but no, hey, don't forget, T.R. Tart was out. He was out. Right.
Audrey was too.
The fan base that's so stuck on next man up were so hurt that they couldn't get a push against
backups
against the 7th round right guard, who by the way has been really bad.
And you know what is nasty? You know what's nasty about all of that is the fact that we were without players on the O-line as well, right?
Yep.
I think left tackle, right?
And Braden Smith is been still gone. Like he's been gone for like 2 years now.
Bernard Ryman,
Ryman was out. We still don't have a right guard. I think he finally played his first game of the season on Sunday. So
yeah, and not just that, but you also have to consider the fact that we lost our starting quarterback when he was 9 for 12 on that defense, and then our backup quarterback actually came in and threw 11 for 14 for 155 yards.
But their secondary was so much better
than ours. Yeah.
I mean, were they though?
No, that's what we heard all this season. Look at how good our secondary is. Who's the guy that got cooked? Like
Christian Fulton?
Christian Fulton. Fulton got cooked so bad.
By
this
everybody.
guy got cooked so bad. He had to hug the receiver to not look stupid.
Yeah, and then you know what the pettiest part was? He blamed the refs.
And then he turns around to look at the refs like they were crazy.
He's like, we got to play against the players and the refs. Just be like, nah, because Michael Pittman, he cooked you without any help from the refs.
Nah, bro. Michael Pittman didn't even. He was just ran straight.
What's the other guy they got from Tampa Bay? They said that was good too.
Oh, Sean Murphy Bunting.
And Pittman mossed his ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but go continue, Harish, because like I said,
we could start. Turnover Tannehill was kind of delayed this week. I mean, I was kind of upset that turnover Tannehill didn't show up to the last drive of the game, but we knew he was going to make an appearance. I mean, it's his MO. He can't leave a game without throwing a pick. So it's like, you know what, guys, I know I've been really, really good for this franchise for the last 4 years. Here's another one for you. So, yeah, it was beautiful. It was also really cool to watch the Titans continue to run right at Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner, even though they weren't getting anything. Like I think there was a point where there was probably like 5 or 6 plays in a row. They were like, yeah, Titans rush for 2 yards. They picked back up and they ran right at him again. It was beautiful. It was awesome.
Yeah.
This guy right here, that's my goat.
Gotcha. And hey, Michael Newsom, who normally comes on here and it gives us a lot of hell, he actually brought up this fact, and this is something that I think I overlooked yesterday. I don't know if you guys knew, but he said the pettiest part is Fulton's mommy on Twitter arguing with Titans fans for roasting Fulton. So basically, Christian Fulton was getting roasted, and when I mean roasted, he was getting roasted into the shadow.
Everybody, yeah,
and his mom jumped in and was commenting on Twitter
that's always good.
about her son, like that's real Eli Apple-ish. And it was a masterpiece. It was
beautiful.
It was perfect to see how everything just fared, because this is the same team that we've been hearing. And you know what? I'm going to say, with all due respect, they had the right to talk, because, I mean, we hadn't beaten them in God knows how much time, but it was their Super Bowl. They had no playoff success, really. I mean, the last time that they went to the playoff was as the number 1 seed, and they got lambasted after sacking Joe Burrow 9 times because, Ryan Tannehill couldn't do Ryan Tannehill things, apparently, whatever that means. But, I mean,
his elite days.
Yeah. And then now, this is, I think this is a brand new low for them, not for us. Because
it goes to show. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. How different is this roster from last year to this year?
How different is it?
Yeah, is it really that different?
No, it's not.
You get a new quarterback, right? Chris Ballard, still doesn't know that the offensive line is a thing, so that's pretty much the same.
Yes. This is true.
We still don't have a number 1 receiver, so that's still not there.
No. No.
What?
We're not doing that. We're not doing
what
that.
Do you mean?
We're not doing
have
that.
A number 1 receiver.
We're not.
I'm not. So the thing is, I'm also not going to indulge that conversation, because Harish, you're being an asshole when you're saying that.
No, I'm not.
You're being an asshole.
I literally believe this.
No, I know that you believe this, and that's part of the reason why I'm saying you're being an asshole.
I'm just showing you how much
of an asshole you're being. How much of an asshole?
The only difference between our team last year and our team this year is we have a coach who's not a potato head.
Okay, we can't agree on that. We can't agree.
That's the difference.
Well, you know what? So I think also, and this is something that I've like, me personally, like, I've been thinking about, and I'm glad that you kind of brought it up. And I know this is kind of like a quick aside, but I think the biggest difference is the coaching, but it's also the fact that Shane Steichen has ways of being able to make things work as they are, as opposed to having to say, well, we need this and we need this and we need this. Because the thing is, no matter what, they're putting up yards through the air, right? Yeah. You're putting up yards through the air. You're putting up yards on the ground. So he has the offense clicking. Now on defense, Gus Bradley, there's something to be desired in the secondary, but you know what you're getting. Like Juju Brents, to me personally, he's been hella impressive.
He's done really well. What a pickup.
Yeah, he's been, I mean, like I said, it's been 3 games in a row where, and mind you, this one, regardless of the fact that D-Hop had a great day, this is just D-Hop, right? But the thing is, he had to go on D-Hop, and he didn't shy away from it. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was wild to see, because this is a guy who's in his 3rd start, and he's guarding somebody who's, I'm going to say, potentially, no matter how you look at it, is going to potentially be a Hall of Famer one day.
Yep. And D-Hop got a lot of yards, but he didn't score.
Exactly. And, it's just like he had a lot of those moments where, he's trying to go out of bounds to get the ball, and, he just has those routes. But the thing is, it's like Brent's he's fearless when it comes to everything. Like he's a tall like lengthy corner, but at the same time he's not scared of anything.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just
I
like
almost
that.
had a pick. I almost had a pick.
Yeah,
He did. Yeah. Does he have a pick this year yet?
not yet.
right?
No, he got a forced
Oh,
fumble.
He has a forced fumble, but he
That's
has
right.
he has a bunch of pass breakups too.
Okay.
So he's been
He'll get a few this year.
yeah.
That dude's gonna be a stud.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
do want to add too. I don't know if you guys saw it. It kind of reminded me of that's why it was so bittersweet. Is that when Tannehill threw that pick and Juju picked it off? It reminded me of what Carson threw that pick and Kevin picked it off and he threw those fingers up, even though
Oh,
Julian didn't do
yeah.
that. But I
Yeah.
was. It's in the same sideline. I was like, damn, I wish he'd done the fingers.
When
Yeah.
when Blackman picked it off at the end. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm so glad Julian Blackman's healthy this year.
Yes,
Because that's just
because when he's
another
healthy,
guy.
he plays lights out.
That dude's a ball hawk, man.
Yes.
And-
I ain't switched positions, so yeah. I mean,
yeah, he did switch positions.
Yep. And like I said, and I know we've talked a little bit about this, but I want to talk about our guys because I just want to rub it in a little bit more for any of the Titans fans out there that are hearing this or are going to hear this. So Zach Moss, and I mean Zach Moss has been having a damn good year, right? I mean, I think some of the Titans fans' talking points was that, oh well, Derrick Henry still has more yards than JT. It's just like, yeah, but he only has 5 more yards than Zach Moss, and Zach Moss has 1 less game. And then fast forward to now, Derrick Henry is sitting at what, 340?
He's out of the top 10.
Oh, he's 329. He's sitting at 329. Zach Moss is now the 3rd leading rusher in the league at this
Has he
point.
surpassed 500 yet? I'm sure.
No,
he has.
he's a little bit
Or-
before. So
okay.
he is at Zach Moss for the year. And let me just go ahead and pull this
I
up
was
for
looking
you.
that up real quick.
Zach Moss is at 445 yards.
Okay.
Yes. And so, I mean, and mind you, I looked at some of his stats from previous years, right? So the highest that he's ever gone is 481, and that was in 13 games.
Yep.
And he has the opportunity to go ahead and break that by his 5th game next week. All he needs 36 yards.
Okay. Yeah, he's right there.
He'll get that Sunday.
Like, this Moss thing that we have going on, right? So Zach Moss has been like pretty damn consistent. And then we just signed JT. So then my question is, how will Zach Moss and JT kind of work in the system? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but how will this be, or how will they be able to work in this system? Because now that you have 2 backs who can be absolutely dominant.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I'll start this time with you, Harish. How are we going? I mean, it's how and what are we going to see with what we know to be 2 very, very good running backs in this offense?
I think you'll see a couple different things. I think you'll see JT actually reduce the amount of carries he gets per game, because I think the Titans or the Colts are well aware of what like a Derrick Henry is for the Titans and how much they treaded his tires for so many years.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to keep that in mind. And I think having a guy like Zach Moss helps with that legitimately. The Titans have been trying to do that for years, and they just haven't been able to figure it out, right?
yeah.
So I think you'll keep that in mind. I don't think we'll see a lot of how they want to use them both together until Anthony Richardson gets back, because I honestly think you're going to see a lot of triple option RPOs out of like 2 back sets.
Yeah.
In the shotgun, right? And you might see a little bit of triple option RPOs out of Gardner Minshew, but then you'll see, a lot of like hand off to one guy, hand off to the other guy, throw a little slant route, throw a little drag route, throw a little out route. Like I think you'll see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I really think I don't think there's really a science to it. I think it's literally like, hey, we're going to line these 2 guys back up in the backfield together at some point, and you're just going to have to figure out who gets it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the time you figure it out, it's not too late.
Yeah. And, I think Shane Steichen has been very, very adamant about figuring out how to make things work, because, I mean, who would have thought that in a game where you're going against a team who is revered as being a heavy run stopping team that you go to the run as much as you did, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think he had between him, JT, and AR, I think there was over 30 rushes
Yeah.
between the three of them. And Zach Moss took the lion's share of them because, of course, JT was on his way back, and then AR left the game with the injury. But for Zach Moss to be able to amass 7.2 yards per carry,
It's insane.
Yes.
mind you,
Impressive.
7.2. That means that he's basically covering the entire field in 7 carries.
Yep.
Like for him to be able to do that as efficient, and mind you, this is efficiency. This is, or I'm going to say, his efficiency this season has been phenomenal. I mean, we're talking about, I think for the year, I want to say he's at 89 carries for the year, and he's at 445 yards. He's at 5 yards per carry even. So that means that he's getting a first down every 2 carries.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, the only guy that's above him. I mean, there's some guys that are producing really well, right? Like, I mean, Devon Achane is doing really well for Miami,
Yeah.
but he's also now out for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And he's only doing that on 38 carries. DeAndre Swift, of course, we know the Eagles, what the guys are all about. And then Brees Hall is the only other guy that I see up here that's like 7.2. So, and then I've got to call out my guy Bijan Robinson, who's at 5.4. I'm just saying, generational talent.
Yes, and then we have Derrick Henry, who's 86 carries for 328. He's at 3.8.
Yeah,
Out of the top
Killer.
10.
Yes.
he's a killer.
So, Josh,
He's killing.
what say you about how Zach Moss and JT will be able to thrive in a system together?
I mean, like I said, in the reduced, even in reduced time Sunday, you saw how unique they are. Both are unique. I mean, you saw what Zach did, like you said, averaging 7.2, and even with JT, he didn't run much, but him in the passing game where I think that he got like 15 yards on a screen pass with Gardner Minshew. I mean, they both can do different things. I mean, Moss can do the same thing as well. I mean, it's just like they both can spell each other. One can take a breather. JT come this week 6, he's the RB1. So he'll be taking the lion's share of those carries. But when it's time for him to sit down, Moss can get into the game and just won't miss a beat. Just like the quarterback play, won't miss a beat. They'll just continue playing, and the offense will flow. Like I said, I mean, we haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, we had JT, then we have smaller backs like Naheem Hines, which is not bad. But you need a guy like JT go out. You need somebody like a Moss to carry the load, and he done that in only the short period of time. Like I said, missing one game. It makes us feel a lot better with this offense. I mean, like I said, quarterback go down, backup come in, still win a game. He done that in the Texan game. He won a game full time against the Ravens, and he won just to help us win Sunday. So I mean, we gotta love that, man. I mean, Shane Steichen is really putting his guys, like we all said in every podcast episodes, we've said he's putting all his guys in the best position to succeed, and everybody has.
Yeah, and you know what?
Except Ella Pierce.
I want to talk about this comment from Michael Newsom for a minute. Certified Maniac. He ate some mayo in the last 2 episodes. I think he enjoys it too much. I'm getting a little scared. But in all seriousness, he says if you take away Moss's 56-yarder, he still had 109 yards, 5 yards per carry, and a TD.
Yeah.
So he said, no way to sugarcoat it. He beat our front 7 up, and it's. I don't think.
Shout out to Big Q for opening that hole up.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? So we don't give enough props to some people like Shane Steichen. We talk about him because he's the mastermind behind it all, right? But can we talk about how good of a pickup Tony Sperano Jr. was for the O-line?
Yes,
because Tony Sperano Jr. has taken the O-line without Ryan Kelly, and this isn't all without him, but without Ryan Kelly, without Bernard Ryman, without like certain people, I think Quentin Nelson is the only one who's played every single game this season on the line. Like he's taken Fries, and Fries has basically jumped Pinter in terms of who's supposed to be the starter.
Yeah.
And he has this O line week in and week out delivering in a way where they're able to continue to get offensive production. Like, mind you, I think the Rams was probably the worst that the O line did early on, and even then in the
The
second half,
Ravens game
they were
too.
able to
They
kind of
cleaned it
like
up.
get it
Yeah.
together. And it's just like this team on every level in terms of the coaching has shown that the adaptability is there. Because
Yes.
I'll tell you this much, when we from what you saw in previous years, if we came out good and we were doing a good job, then we stayed steady the whole entire time.
Hmm.
We didn't make sure that we elevated to make sure that nobody was able to kind of get above us, or I'm going to say get ahead. We just kind of stayed where we were. When we were bad, like last year when we were bad, we were
We
just
were
bad the
bad.
entire time.
Yep.
But the
There's
thing
no
is
adjustments.
now, like I said, when we played against the Rams, you go heads up against the Rams. I think the Rams went up what 23-0, and
Yes.
then by the end of the game, we scored 23 unanswered to go into overtime. And then of course they end up winning in overtime. But once again, it's resilience. It's like it's a change in mantra, but it's also a big shift in terms of the attitude, in terms of no, we're going to go and do what we need to do. We don't give a shit about analytics. This is what we're going to make sure that we do, because Shane is looking at the field and he's looking at what he's seeing and he's like, nah, we need to do this because from what I'm seeing, this is looking this is looking like we can take advantage of this. And to a certain extent, he hasn't been wrong as of yet. Like given a coverage botch at the end of the Rams game in overtime, and given that I'm going to say a big return, which I mean honestly, Jamal Agnew made a hell of a play. Those are
Yeah.
two very close games.
Yeah. I mean, but even in the coverage mishap, right?
Yeah,
You still got to understand that secondary is young. So those things were
You expect it.
there's probably still at least 1 to 3 or more of those that's
yeah,
gonna happen this season, right?
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, it just goes back to saying that coaching matters. The last 6 years, we argue that this roster. I mean, well, look at it what it is right now. At one point, this is one of the best rosters in the league, right?
yeah.
Depth wise, all that stuff. But the last 2 years, it hasn't been, and there hasn't been coaching. It's been very young again. There hasn't been coaching to help develop the guys that they need to develop. Like you can find 5th, 6th, and 7th round gents every year,
Yeah.
because there's just that much talent out there in college right now. But you still have to develop them at the NFL level, and that just was not happening under Frank Reich. That's really what it came down to.
Absolutely. And we can be completely honest in that Frank Reich, he needed specific things and he needed specific people in order for things to work.
Yeah.
And we see that now that's not the case with this team, right?
Yep.
Because I mean the thing is now, I don't think there's a single receiver outside of Alec Pierce that hasn't been able to actually have a game where they actually went off. I mean, Josh Downs is a great example of that because Josh Downs is out there playing like he's doing his best Steve Smith
Yep.
Sr. impression.
Man.
And he's going out there and I mean, he's playing like
Lights out.
he's 6'5", 220 and ran a 4.3 40. Like, you have these guys out there. Ogletree is another one who has been doing dividends and making sure that he's doing that in Jelani Woods' absence, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, you see what the game plans are bringing. You see exactly what's going on. I mean, even Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew has not just shown that, yes, he's a great backup, but he's showing that he can actually run this offense efficiently, and he doesn't have to do too much. Like when
Yeah.
he was in Jacksonville, he had to do too much because it was Jacksonville. But the thing is now he doesn't have to do too much because Shane is putting him in the position to be able to just go ahead and say, hey, if this isn't there, do this. If this isn't there, do this. And then that's what it is.
Yep. I also think Gardner's success attributes to the fact that he already knows the system, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because he came from Philadelphia. So that helps him out a lot. So he doesn't need to focus on those little things like, hey, what am I supposed to read on this play, right? He probably knows his playbook pretty well at this point.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't need to worry about those things. He just gets to go out there and play. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. I'll take 11 for 14, 155 yards, but still get two scoring drives. Like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And chew up a lot of clock.
And chew up a lot of clock. Like, I will want 14 plays, 15 plays, 75 yards, 80 yards. I'll take those types of drives.
Exactly. And you know, and so of course, now moving on. So, and this is something that we also want to talk about with Shane Steichen. Just want to go ahead and just point out a couple things, and then we're just going to talk about AR for a second, because I know we've been talking a while, and we have a timeline that we have to go according to. But Steichen first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time that Derrick Henry, in his professional career since he's been the starter in Tennessee, has been held to 43 yards. So 13 rushes for 43 yards, which is basically no big feat. First win at home.
Yeah.
All right. And also, I think there was one more. There was one more very, very important one that I wanted to make sure that we pointed out.
Is it 165 or 160 or 50? Something like that.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It wasn't the first. Sunday was the 351st day since the last time the Titans beat the Colts. So yeah, so that was one that I wanted to make sure that we highlighted. Okay,
that's important.
Sorry about that. Now moving on to like I said, let's just address the elephant in the room, Anthony Richardson, right? So Anthony Richardson, he on a read option play, he took the ball, carried, and then he got tackled, came down on his right shoulder, which is his throwing shoulder, awkward. Ended up being on the field for a little while and ended up leaving the game. Now we find out that it is a grade 3 AC joint sprain, where technically an AC joint sprain means that there are some ligaments that may have been torn, that basically are going to possibly, if they choose not to go the route of surgery, just let it heal. But you're looking potentially at 4 to 6 weeks. Now we have this one, and let's just put it out there. With this latest injury, the third injury on the year, who's to blame?
You can only blame the person that's causing them injuries to himself. You can't blame the coach. I mean, how can he go out there and make him hurt his shoulder or get a concussion or hurt his knee? There's a guy that's, causing himself harm.
Yeah.
And I hate it. He's a young guy, 21 years old, and he'll learn from that. He can learn from the bench, watching Gardner be a pro. Whether it amounts to wins, we don't know that. It's to be determined. But you can only blame the guy that caused himself those injuries.
Yeah.
That one I can't say that he caused it. I mean, it's bad. I mean, he got tackled. I mean, they get tackled all the time. So this happened. It's a freakish accident. I mean, it wasn't like they tried to hurt him. But,
yeah.
I mean, you blame the quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Harish?
Let me go a little deeper than that. I'm gonna blame the strength and conditioning coach, and let me tell you why. When you have injuries, aplenty, right? Okay, granted, some of this is freakish stuff, right? But as you said, it's not like he hit the turf really hard. It's not like he, even on the concussion, it's not like, he banged his head on the turf and blah, blah, blah. Like, these are freakish things. But at some point, when you're getting hurt this much, this often, this early in the season, is there something else that is causing some of the injuries you're having? And I say this because, and I also say this because this team has a history of injured quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And a history of misdiagnosis of these injuries too. So we've been hearing a lot of 4 to 6 weeks, right? That's been pretty common. Somewhere, I don't know who. Well, I do know who, but somewhere. I also heard that he might be looking into surgery and a third opinion.
Surgery and what?
and a third opinion, which if he got surgery on an AC sprain joint, he would be out for the season.
Yeah.
So
find a way.
That's. Yeah, I also still blame Anthony Richardson as well because he is in control of putting himself in these situations. Like he was diving, but he was diving into a group of Titans players who are, actively, tackling him.
Yeah.
He was diving into the end zone against the Houston player who had the ability to throw him in the air at his momentum and his size to cause himself harm. So I think it's a little bit. I think there's some strength and conditioning here,
Yeah.
and I also think there's some blame on AR for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we're all three on the same accord because, I think AR, especially for as because we heard 6'4", 255, specimen, athletic, everything, but athleticism is no good if you're just disregarding safety, right?
Right.
And the thing is, you're in a position now where, like I said, he's 21, so he's young. He's going to be able to, just like I said, he's going to be able to take that punishment. But the problem is that if he's constantly taking these hits, this is going to build up over time.
Yep.
And the thing is, we want him to be able to develop as a passer, but you can't develop as a passer if you're not in these games to be able to actually pass the ball.
Yep.
So the issue that I'm running into with him is that, I know that Shane is telling him to do these things, because that Shane has worked very hard to put him in this position, but I don't think he's necessarily willfully disregarding it as much as he needs to make sure that in these in-game decisions, he's making sure that he's actually just going ahead and heeding these warnings. Like, we're going to be able to get the yards. I don't care if you're taking the slide and then it ends up being 2nd and 7 instead of 2nd and 5, and then you have to make contact. Take the 2nd and 7 and preserve yourself, because honestly, it's about self-preservation, and he plays at a position where as soon as the quarterback takes off, all that protection that the quarterback has from the pocket is gone.
I mean, I agree. I mean, look what happened with Gardner. I think he ran and he juked somebody or a spin move on a DB or a linebacker, and he died for almost close to a first yard. I mean, those things, like you said, those things that AR would learn.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to bulldoze a player, he can just, spin move or juke a player and get down. You don't have to fight for the extra yard. I'm not saying like he said. I mean, he fell into a player. He dived into a player. Fighting maybe another yard. I mean, you don't have to do that. I mean, you're a quarterback. You're not a tight end. You're not a linebacker. I mean, you have to go down knowing that you got to preserve yourself. I mean, he's a young guy, 21 years old. He played football this way his whole life. And that's all he knows. So having to go in the NFL and have to change the way he plays, it's kind of hard. It would be hard for anybody.
Yeah.
But those are things that Shane, those things that the offense coordinator, those things that Gardner is going to help him with while he sits out, however long he sits out, 4 to 6 weeks. And definitely we don't know. But he will learn. So next year, if he does miss a whole year or even plays up until whenever, I mean, he sits out until whenever, we come back, we'll see a different guy because he did slide in this game. It's just that consistently sliding. It took Andrew Luck a while up until Frank Wright got him to where he started doing it, because he didn't do it at all for 6 years or something like that, 7 years. So I mean, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for a 21-year-old to adapt to a different style of play.
Yeah, and
he's still only up until this year. He's only played 14 games.
Yeah,
he's still young and playing the position really.
Yeah.
So, but up until then, dude was balling out, man. He was due for a big day. That dart to Josh Downs, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
This dude
in between two players.
Yeah.
This dude can be special.
And the thing is, that was one of those things where it's one of those deep passes, but the accuracy on the pass, along with the power that he's throwing with, it's absolutely absurd, because we saw it with Alec Pierce where he was able to just get the ball to him 30 yards downfield, and then here he is again throwing an absolute laser to Josh Downs, where Josh Downs is not just taking the ball, but he's coming down with it. And he's coming down with it like he's the biggest dude out of the three of them, and he just happens to be the smallest.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's
He was mic'd up, man. Did y'all listen to his mic'd up?
Not yet. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, listen to his mic'd up when y'all get done. His mic up. He was mic'd up Sunday. He was talking shit on the sideline.
Hey,
Good.
listen, I'm
I
fine.
need to go listen.
But you know what? I want to get to this comment because this comment is interesting. So, if surgery ends his season but gives more long-term stability, is that more valuable to you than him coming back this year and addressing a long-term fix in the offseason? Now, I want to premise this also by saying that prior to the season, we kind of chalked this season up and we said, you know what? This is going to be like a learning season. This is going to be a season where they just kind of build chemistry. And then going into next off season, that's when we're going to go and we're going to start talking about, bringing in extra weapons, bringing in what we need to on defense and knowing exactly where we're going to stand with what we're going to do. Now, the thing is, if for some reason, let's just say AR gets surgery out for the year, right? Are we going to really be upset because we automatically knew that we were going to be in some type of, we were going to kind of be in the hole when it came to how we were going to develop? Or is it the fact that we're right now 3-2 at a time where we didn't envision being 3-2 kind of deterring us from where we really think that we should be? And I want to know, Josh, because I want to know from you, because I know I said that I kind of have us going with 8 wins if AR continues to play the way that he's playing. But you see what you have with Minshew too. So what?
I mean, at the beginning of the year, we heard that maybe Minshew should start over AR. A lot of people said that let him sit a year or two and have AR play after sitting behind somebody.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw that, we saw a glimpse that he could play and win a game, just the other team just better. But for us expectations, we all have said, I've said between 6 to 8 wins. Winning 6, 7 games is where my expectations are. So I mean, I don't if we get to those 6 games and play like we've been playing and lose some games, I'll still be happy. My expectations would be right there. If we exceed that by winning, 9 games, that was that's a hell of a year. All I gotta do just bounce. All I gotta do is play off this year, next year, like I said, with added weapons, and you just build off that because you know that we won 9 games. No one, with the guy that he's on the NFL Network, he said we're gonna be 3-14. Adam Rank is his name.
Adam Rank, yeah, he said 3-14.
So I mean, he's gonna be 3-14. So. No one expects us to even win. We got 3 wins now. Nobody expects us to be at 6 or 7 wins. So, like I said, I'm not gonna be down. I'm not gonna be upset if he doesn't play the rest of the season because you're gonna see this team fight each week, whether it wins or lose or tie possibly. I don't know if we're gonna tie or not, but you can't predict those things. We're gonna fight. We fought against the Rams. We beat a good ass Ravens team. We almost knocked off the division champs. So I mean, I'm proud of the team. If we can win 4 more games, I'll be proud.
Yeah. So like I said, would you be, if they said that he's gonna have to get surgery, ends the season, then is that like a dark cloud, or is it just like, okay, you know what, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, and then what, like I said, and then we recoup for next year?
I'm okay because the more he sits down, he learns. Because I mean, if he does get surgery, he's gonna come back and sit on the sideline, and he's gonna learn. He's gonna see, experience from the team, winning games that they should win. He's gonna get the experience. He's gonna see his quarterback, his backup quarterback win. Throw some passes or have some wild plays where he's like, man, I wish I was out there. He's gonna learn. Gordon gonna come back to the sideline and talk to him. Hey, look, guy, do this shit next time. Do that next time. Slide. On this play right here. That's where you should slide at. Things like that. It helps him long term. So I'm okay with that. So it won't be a dark cloud for me. He'll learn either in game or sit on the bench.
Absolutely. And what about you, Harish?
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever happens from this situation, I think Anthony Richardson's going to come back better from it. He seems like a smart guy. He's learned what he's picked up so far very quickly. Regardless of whether he comes back this season or he comes back next season, I think we're going to see a different quarterback. I think we're going to see a guy that starts to become more patient. What I don't want to happen is that he becomes so my fear is that he becomes so self-cautious one way or the other that it ruins who he is as a quarterback. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. It ruins his identity as a quarterback. That's the one thing that concerns me. So I still want him to use his feet and his athleticism and his body and everything. I want him to use it more responsibly. And I think he will do that.
Yeah. And you know what? I think he has that attitude that where he doesn't waver. I think for him it's just like he's been in situations like he didn't waver at all during that Rams game, right? And that's the reason why that offense ends up going, 23 points unanswered in the second half because of the fact that he just said, no, I'm not worried about that. I'm not in a deficit, It's just like you see certain quarterbacks can get rattled and certain quarterbacks do get rattled. Like they do it in prime time. We've seen, certain guys just go ahead and cower, but he's even keel the whole time. And I think that's a big change of pace. That's a big positive for him. But you know what? Like I said, we gotta make sure we're wrapping up soon. So you know what? Here, Colts versus Jags predictions, right? So we're gonna be in Jacksonville. What are we looking at? What are the keys to victory? And then what do you predict the score to be? And then we'll go with you, Harish. What do you got?
I think I don't think you changed much from the last game, honestly. I think they put him very well. I think you limit your mistakes. You close the game out. Defense is going to have to make some timely stops. And I think if you can do all those things, I think this is a very beatable Jaguars team. I mean, they came into the season with high expectations. They're obviously sitting 3-2 right now because the Bills were jet lagged. So yeah, I think the Colts win this game 20-17. I truly think if there's like, if full circle moment, Gardner Minshew going back to Jacksonville to end the streak would be that full circle moment.
That would be that would be mind blowing. That would be mind blowing.
So I'm gonna ride the superstition in the high. And I'm gonna say the Colts win 20-17.
2017. Okay. What about you, Josh?
Yeah, Harish, you stole my prediction, not score, but far as not don't change anything. I mean, do the same thing and dare them stop you. I mean, I'm trying to go real fast with it. The first game we had a lot of turnovers with in the run game with Deion Jackson. We all saw that, and it changed the outcome of the game and momentum as well. We limit, like I said, those turnovers and cash in on your points. I mean, we know our coach is going to be aggressive fourth down, and we know how we are in Jacksonville. We play like we scared, but those guys are going to be motivated. They're motivated to stop Derrick Henry. They're going to be motivated to stop Calvin Ridley and Lawrence and ETN. So continue doing what you're doing on defense. You rattle him first week, you rattle him again in week 6, and you come out winning 24-17.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? If we go back and look at the game, the first game just had some of those miscues that we talk about, right? But I think the biggest thing that was missing was the run game in that first game because, I mean, we had Deion Jackson where if not for 2 bonehead fumbles, that game probably doesn't end up being the score that it ends up being. It doesn't end up being, 31-20? Yeah. And so, I think you have Zach Moss, you have JT, and, you have Minshew. And this offense is going to look better than it did the first time, but now you got Juju Brents in there where now it's just like you'll be able to just do whatever you need to. Calvin Ridley, he had a great game the first game, but I think ever since then he's almost disappeared. I think it's just like he's had a bad couple games and then he hasn't really done much ever since. So, I mean, to me personally, if I'm looking at this game, I don't think it's easily winnable, but I think that this is a game where, regardless of what the record is in Jacksonville, they'll actually be able to go into Jacksonville and probably do all the things that they wish that they would have done the first time at home. So I think that this could end up being a win. I think we end up winning this one 24-18.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Both of these defenses are very good. and I think they match up well against each other. I don't know what Calvin Ridley has done since the Colts game, but stopping if we could stop Calvin Ridley, honestly, if you could stop Calvin Ridley, got a really good shot.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're looking at like the game by game in terms of like what Calvin Ridley's done, he had, I think he had 2 100-yard games. So he had 8 for 122 in his last game, but Tre'Davious White, he's out for the season. And then against us, our secondary isn't that great. He went 8 for 101, right? But then Kansas City 2 for 32. Houston 3 for 40, and then against Atlanta 2 for 38. So I mean, he's had an up and down season so far. He's at about, for the season right now, 333 yards through the first 4 games, where I mean it's decent, but I don't think it's necessarily setting the world on fire. I think right now he's projected to have 1132, but that's if he can kind of keep up the averages. But to me personally, I don't think it's going to be him, because Christian Kirk is actually edging him out just barely in terms of yardage. I think Christian Kirk has 2 more yards than he does. So
I think our problem will be Zay Jones and Christian Kirk.
Yeah. I mean, it always ends up being somebody out of nowhere, right? But I do think that it's gonna, like, this game is gonna end up coming down to making sure that we stay on top of everything that we need to do, and then also, having the emergence of guys like Josh Downs, and then I don't know if it's just me, but is it that Alec Pierce just plays so much better with Gardner Minshew?
It could be a chemistry thing. I mean, honestly, it's very possible. Alec Pierce actually played pretty well against Tennessee. Yeah. He had that big third down catch he actually caught. Like, I was like, oh, wow, this guy can catch a football. That's interesting. Haven't seen him do that since Cincinnati.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
we'll see. Jacksonville too, though. He loves Jacksonville too.
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope a lot of people love Jacksonville this week, because I'm ready to get this stupid streak over with.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? So like I said, we're pretty unanimous with what we have. So Josh, I hope that you got all those predictions. So we'll either, one of us will either be completely on point, or we will just be absolutely wrong for all the right reasons. So yeah. But other than that, and also just a quick update. I know we talked about rankings last week, but after the win this past week, we had one ranking that went out today, and that had us at 17.
Yes. Yep.
That sounds pretty fair. I think we are about in the middle of the league.
Yeah, we're mid. We're a mid team.
I'm very hey, mid is way better than I mean,
mid is way better than where we were last year, because last year we were.
I had us starting like 2-6, so I'll take mid.
Booty juice. So we could. No, absolutely not. Yeah. But yeah, so okay. So with that being said, guys, I think that's it for us. That's it for us for tonight. We will be back next week. Austin is on vacation, so hopefully he's having a great time. If you see him wearing some shirts that have some inappropriate things to say on them, just know that is on purpose. So then, without further ado, guys, where can the people find you on social media? Starting with you, Josue.
You can find me on Twitter at officials.senior, and I'm still in training.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. Harish, yourself.
I'm not in training, but you can find me at the Uncle Gandhi on Twitter. Find me Thursday nights on the Longhorn Fan Battle podcast. Thursday nights, we've got a lot to talk about this week, so definitely join us there.
Breaking loss this Saturday, man. It was a tough loss.
We got a lot to talk about on Thursday. We get to join the rest of the one-loss teams that says, "Hey, everything that we're playing for is still ahead of us." So we've joined that crew. And shout out to Bama for continuing to win. We need you guys to keep winning. So please keep winning. Just makes that win that we have over you guys look that much better. But yeah, Thursday nights on the Longhorn Fan Battle podcast, and then I'll be on the next 2 Mondays on the ASC South Fan Battle podcast.
Okay, gotcha. Absolutely, appreciate you. Yeah, depending on how this game versus Jags go, Harish, since you were able to cover for me when I was having cop and car troubles, I'd be more than willing to go on for you, win or lose this Monday. So.
Oh no! If we win, I'm definitely going on. You can join me. We'll have 2 of us on.
I will join you. I will join you.
I've waited 5 years of this podcast for this moment. So I'm definitely gonna be on.
That's why I was disappointed last night I couldn't get on. I was like, I wanted that one. So yeah.
That was a good time last night.
And you can find me at CJ Colts fan on Twitter, Chris Jackson on Facebook. But yeah, so please make sure that you are tuning in. Like I said, make sure that you are following HorseShoe_Mob on Twitter. And as always, you guys know the deal. You know what it is. You know who Sam loves? Jalen Ramsey, baby. Okay?